Happy Saturday morning. It's Labor Day weekend. We're gonna head to the usual. We'll head to Catalina. Today we're actually gonna head for Cat Harbor, and I debated a little bit over whether to reserve a mooring or to plan to anchor, and I opted to wimp out and just reserve the mooring for this weekend. It's a holiday weekend. It's going to be a little bit of a shit show. It's going to be super busy. Thought we'd go to Cat Harbor. Just haven't had this boat in Cat Harbor yet. Actually, we were thinking about doing it last weekend. Decided that we're going to... we changed plans and went to Cherry Cove last weekend instead. So we'll go to Cat Harbor. And I just didn't really want to compete with anyone to try and find a good anchoring spot, just knowing it was going to be a really busy holiday weekend. So I thought I'd go ahead and go for the mooring, but thinking it might be a little bit quieter on Cat Harbor, which is cool. It's going to be the usual, 5 to 10 knots of wind, maybe 10 to 15 in the afternoon. And I'm not sure what time we're going to shove off here. We're just taking our time, enjoying coffee and everything. We'll just adjust and adapt to whatever the conditions are out there for sailing when we get out on the water, but the conditions are going to be pretty benign. I expect that we'll be motoring a pretty good part of it, at least the first part, and then I'm hoping that we get some awesome sailing in towards the latter half of the trip. So we'll check in a little bit. All right, we are finally off the dock and heading out for Catalina Harbor. It's almost 11:30. There was no wind. It was getting to be a scorcher. We're getting a little breeze here in the harbor, and it is going to be a busy boating weekend. So we'll see what kind of boating shenanigans we run into this weekend, but hopefully we get some good wind and we can do some decent sailing so we're not motoring all the way. I need to run the engine a little bit because I want to keep the batteries topped off well. I'm going to make a little bit more water at some point along the way. But I think we might get some sailing out of this. Coming up on Angel's Gate Lighthouse. Wind's coming up. I'm seeing almost 15 knots apparent before noon, which is pretty sweet. So we are going to get outside of the breakwater. Then we will think about doing some sailing. See what our wind's gonna look like. I think we'll be close. Yeah, so the wind's actually quite nice out. It's around 15 to 16 true. We're seeing 2021 apparent. Unfortunately, it is like almost dead on to the nose for us, which kind of sucks. So we're gonna put up the main, but I think we're gonna wind up motor sailing, or we're gonna wind up bearing off quite a bit. So I'll have to decide what we're gonna do there. All right, so we're gonna put the main up. We'll see what kind of angle, whether we sail or motor sail here. Okay, it should be loose now. You don't have to pull a ton out, maybe a little bit more, and then loosen up these other two. Yeah, that's probably, and then loosen up these other two a little bit. There you go. And then just make sure you're careful, because the boom's gonna swing around a little bit.
Knock your glasses off?
Well,
I took them off for a reason.
I've had glasses knocked off
before. Lifted or what?
While you're doing that, I'm watching this ship over here. So we may have to negotiate shipping lanes and stuff, but go ahead and do that. You're gonna have to lift the whole boom up and move it over to the side. There you go. And then that just comes straight up. You may have to wiggle it look back and forth this way. There you go, perfect. All right, we're getting ready to raise the main. This guy's gonna be about a half mile out. Looks like he's towing behind us. We're well in front of him. We're just about head to wind, maybe about 20 degrees off. So I'll bring her up, and then we are gonna go ahead and raise the main. Then we'll figure out what we're doing, because we're
we're gonna have to bear off if we're gonna do full-on sailing. I haven't decided yet if we're gonna do that. Marsh Blizzarian here.
That's right. I mean, my bitches and my
Right. Took his private jet to get here. Yeah, that guy's hauling rock, it looks like. All right, keep it rolling.
All right.
Getting tired yet?
No, that's just I think it's an angle.
Yeah, it could be a little hard. So at this point, let go, please. We cheat. Actually, wrap it around, and then that last wrap goes to the top. Then you just push this stupid button. Hold that down.
Where the fuck? You piece of shit.
Hold that button down. No, I mean, it's good to start it by hand. And then I'll watch it to make sure. Keep it down, I'll tell you. So I'm watching it because you don't want to rip the sail with this power winch. Keep it going. Looking good. Keep her going.
Good?
A little more.
Good?
A little more. A little more. Stop. Perfect. Okay. All right, here's a better look at this tugboat that's hauling this barge full of rock. All right, we're kind of strapped in right now. I mean, we could ease a little bit of sails, gain a little bit of power, but we've slowed down a little bit. So we're doing a little bit over 4 knots. We're a good solid 30 degrees off our course, and the wind's died down a little bit, so it's now down to about 10 knots with a bash. So you can see the sails. We're definitely need to let these sails breathe a little bit. They're definitely strapped in too tight, there's no question about that. And I can trim now that the wind's settled a little bit, but since we've got a little bit of time to make, I think what I'm going to do is crank the engine back up, and then we'll I'll do that now.
Island gap.
Crank the engine back up, we'll get our speed, and we'll do a little tighter angles, and then see if we can't motor sail a little higher, keep our speed up, and then when we get to the northwest end, we'll be changing course quite a bit, and then we'll see if we can cut the sails for an hour or two. There's the CGM CMA Libra, which is about almost 5 miles ahead of us. I pointed us another 10 degrees to starboard so that he's gonna pass about 1-3 miles in front of us once we get into the shipping lane. So we should be well clear. Yeah, this wind wants to stay pretty high on our nose. Still trying to figure it out, but here you can see the CMA CGM Libra. Alright, wind's coming up a little bit. We are still motor sailing. Staysail in main, head sail still wrapped. There's the CMA CGM Libra, headed southbound. I'll be damned if this wind isn't clocking around a little bit. So I'm on the verge of bearing off and just sailing again. Just right on the cusp. Still, wind's still a little tighter angle than I'd like, and I'm still pressing a little bit for time to get to the back side of the island. But it's nice and comfortable, and we're having a pretty good time. So we are going to enjoy our day and our trip. We're well past the shipping lanes, and conditions really haven't changed much. It's still a bit of a bash. And we're still going to continue to motor sail. There's plenty of wind to sail. I'm running the water maker right now. I'm going to run it for maybe another hour, and we'll run the engine while we're doing that, just to keep our batteries topped up and everything. About 7 miles out, the northwest end of Catalina, well outside the shipping lanes. And then this guy snuck up on us, the Horizon Enterprise. He's actually headed for Honolulu, so he's outside of the north and southbound traffic separation scheme. Let's see, 19.8 knots. So that guy's hauling ass. Almost 20 knots.
Catalina Island. The Coast Guard has received a report of a vessel in distress on the backside of Catalina Island in the vicinity of position 33-19.05 north, 118-29.71 west. No further information available at this time. All mariners
South
are
of Catalina Harbor.
requested to keep a sharp lookout, assist if possible, and report any sightings to the United States Coast Guard. This is the United States Coast Guard Sector Los Angeles, out.
Saw a fin popping up over the port. I see another one. Couple of fins popping up. There it is. Popping up. What is it? Shark or dolphin? Right there. Straight to port. Right there. Slow moving. It's dolphin, I think. Why is it moving so slow? Is that a Risso's? See if it looks great, if it looks like it has scars. Alright, I gotta look a picture of the dorsal fin on that. I'm thinking that was a Risso's. I couldn't tell if it was a loner or if there was a couple up there. That's coming at us about just a little under 5 miles off the northwest end of Catalina. Alright. Coming up on the west end, we've got dolphins to starboard. Might be, looks like they're coming this way. Meanwhile, Marsh Blizzarians partied out. Yeah, while you were taking a power nap, we had some dolphins come up. They bugged out pretty quickly. Feels like there's lighter wind now. There's not as much wind. Kind of sucks. This kind of sucks. Here's the story of my life. That's Eagle Rock, and we're just right on the west end of Catalina here. I need a preventer. So we've got a swell coming across the beam, so I'm gonna have to do something with that. And then there's no wind. Spot right up here on the port side is Ironbound Cove. And if you look forward a little bit, that's Ribbon Rock. A little better view of Ribbon Rock. Alright, we're doing a run right now. I've got the
Harbor Master, Harbor Master.
main pretty far out. And I'm gonna try not to get the not to try and get too far with the main by the lee. I don't want to crash jibes or anything like that, but the wind crept up behind us and we're cooking along at 6.5 knots. Just the main. I can't Marshall's taking a nap, so I don't really want to screw around with the head sail right now. And I'm manually steering, so I've got my hands full. But we are making a beeline for Cat Harbor. Not too far to go, just 3 miles, but screw it, at least we'll get a little bit of sailing in, huh? We're cooking. So we're in a low, but you can see this pressure coming behind us. You see the main, watch the main fill up here in about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.5, 0.25, 0.125, 0.100. It was a little frustrating. I could see the wind behind me, but didn't reach me. It's kind of stuck back there where those boats are, maybe a little bit behind them. So spent a little time screwing around. Got down to about 1.5 knots to 2. And the main was just kind of flogging around. All right, this is the last corner around Cat Harbor. So we've got one more turn and then we are in Catalina Harbor. Got a reservation for Mike 02, boat's keel dragger. Second row starboard, thank you. Okay. We're gonna pick up on the starboard side, on the right side. Piece of cake. It was 6 o'clock, just went for a little dip. Made a perfect tie up at the mooring, and I'm actually hanging out here with Marsh Bilzerian. Marsh Bilzerian is an Instagram influencer. So Marsh Bilzerian, tell us what you think of the adventure so far. All right, I know everyone was impressed with the Chili Mac a couple of episodes ago. We're gonna try an upper game here a little bit, starting with roasted ears. Roasted ears is one word for those of you that are wondering. All right, there it is. Roasted ears, bratwurst. All right, Sunday morning, a little bit before 10 a.m. We're getting ready to launch the dink here. All right, here we go. Marsh Bilzerian. So Marshall and I just spent the last 5 minutes trying to figure out what these sounds are. That sounds like an earthquake here at Cat Harbor, and I think we figured it out. It's live fire exercises on San Clemente. So some military operations going on. We could hear it all the way from here. Yeah, I feel like I need to clear something up, just because it's because I'm a sailor doesn't mean that I have a thing against powerboats, and quite the contrary. I actually own a powerboat, and I'd like to show you the powerboat that I have. This is the powerboat. There it is. Stink Potter galore. Let's check her out.
Cat-like reflex. kind of fun, dude. That for a minute.
Let me get another one of those. Oh, it's stuck. Marshall. Oh, no. I'm serious. It's fucking. I can't. Shit. Oh, shit. Seriously. It's fucking stuck.
Are you driving it now?
No. It's stuck. Dude, it wigged out. I'm so shit.
Is it upside down now?
Yeah.
I'll swim over
Go
there.
swim and retrieve it. Sorry about that. Okay. So a couple of episodes, I made a chili mac meal with box of Kraft macaroni and cheese and a can of chili for dinner. And I know my viewers couldn't believe that I cooked such an amazing meal. But it is a survival skill when you're happily married and your wife is a great cook and does all the cooking and she's not around. You have to pick up certain skills in order to survive. So we're gonna try and up a notch on cooking with Keel Dragger today. We're gonna make fajitas. So what we've got is a nice flank steak. Flank steak is sitting in this Tupperware container. And then we have a traditional carne asada marinade. So we're gonna marinate this for a few hours. Couple hours probably, not for too long. We'll marinate it for a little bit and then we'll fire up the grill and we're going to grill the flank steak, and then we're going to bias cut the flank steak for the rest of the fajitas. So we'll check in a minute with the next step, but this is going to marinate for a couple of hours. We'll check in a bit. So here's the flank steak with the marinade on it. Not really sure what else I'm supposed to do here, so I'm going to let it sit with this container on. I'll probably put it back in the fridge and just let it sit in there for a while, and maybe in an hour I'll turn it over. Alright, so we're getting a little bit more serious about cooking. Marshall is going to prepare, he is going to slice the onion and peppers for the fajita mix, which we'll cook, and then I'm going to get the grill started. Alright, getting the grill ready. There's a propane system. We have two 11-pound, kind of the squatter tanks. Both small, but they're both 11-pound propane. I've got one of them around to the grill, and I will get the grill and get it fired up. Alright, there's the before picture of the flank steak. Alright, Marshall cut up the onions and the peppers. Alright, that's something on my mass that's banging. So this is the flank steak. I think it's medium rare. We'll find out whether it's medium rare or rare, but we're gonna bias cut it along the grain, and then Marshall's cooking down the vegetables. Okay, we're one step closer to the finished product. We've got tortillas, some cheese, onions, peppers, and flank steak. Let's make some fajitas. Alright. A little bit after 6. Looks like there might be a little fog out there. Definitely see a little bit of haze in the air. It was mostly a full moon last night. We're gonna try and get organized here pretty early. Alright, I think we're fairly well on track for departure, just a little after 7:30 a.m. I still see a little haze and fog, but it looks like we've got a few miles of visibility, at least towards the south. So this is right around Catalina Head, Lobster Point, the sailboat anchoring here. Not sure if this is going to come up well, if at all, but there's a dense patch of fog out there between here and Santa Barbara. Better view of that fog bank coming in. See clearly now. It'll be on us shortly, I think. Crept up pretty quickly. So we will be likely turning on the radar here in a few minutes. But we can see this landmass next to us. See the island quite well. All right, here's our fog rolling in. It's pretty dense over here. It's like Ribbon Rock, I think, next to us, but look at that. We're just about ready to roll into it. We're not going to be able to see anything. It's thick. Here it comes. Watch it. Shit. Look straight ahead. We're almost in the thick of it. That power boat over there might even disappear on us. Glasses are starting to fog up a little bit. So Marshall, I will need your eyes off your phone.
I know.
I can barely see that power boat. And it might get a little thicker yet. All right, just about pea soup here. Sucks. All right, we're running radar right now. This is a pretty old green screen Raytheon before Raymarine R20XX raster scan radar. It'll pick up a little bit of sea clutter, and I can try and adjust it a little bit, but as far as I can tell right now, we don't have anybody in front of us. A couple little blips that show up in front of us, but I don't think those are ships. And then this stuff that you see to the right of us is Catalina Island. And I think right now we're at a 3-mile range. I may have to actually put my contacts on because my glasses keep fogging up in this fog, which kind of sucks. So or I'll just keep wiping them off. But Marshall's on watch right now. I'm going to come back up and we'll start both watching out for other boats and whatever else we might run into.
Now it says there's a little itty bitty dot right to our port.
To our port?
Yeah.
So we've got Marshall calling audibles on the radar, and this is a good reason why. This is an old standard Horizon chart plotter. It'll work with AIS, but the radar is down in the companionway, so you can't see it from the helm, which kind of sucks. So Marshall's down there watching radar while I'm up here looking at pea soup. All right, we have any other contacts?
Yeah, looks like there's something right ahead of us.
Dead ahead?
Yeah, port.
To port?
Yeah, dead ahead port.
Okay, I'm taking 10 degrees to starboard. Clearly on our port side. How far?
Yeah, it's on the other side of us now, so you're good.
Could be a phantom or oh, he's behind us.
Now.
Fuck, we didn't even see him. Yeah, so this is the kind of shit. We're right in between these two boats here. There's somebody in a jet ski buzzing by. These guys are fishing, and there's Eagle Rock right there. Good view of Eagle Rock here and the northwest end of Catalina Island. So on the water, got a little bit of a clearing in vis, but visibility still sucks. And I ran a little closer to land than I think I'm comfortable with. Winds are pretty light, but we're gonna go ahead and put up the main and motor sail for a little while. We're still on the northwest end here of the island. And as soon as we get the main up, we'll change directions, change course. Yeah, wind's single digits. There's no real wind. Starting to make a little distance. See, pretty good viz along the island there, and I can see several boats from miles away, and I can barely make out what I think is Long Point down there. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Behind us, fog's starting to fill in pieces here. Yet we have some sun popping through over to starboard, and so we can see the sun a little bit at least. A lot of light, but then the fog is getting pretty thick over there towards Two Harbors. Trim. What's trim? You're good. You're trimming.
I don't know your language.
It's 2-speed. You can go one way or the other.
Oh.
One way's easier.
Sweet.
Yeah. Keep coming. Stop. Look at that. We're sailing. I was expecting 5 to 10 out of the south. This has got a ton of east in it. Mostly south, but it's got a ton of east in it also. So it's more of a southeast. You can see weird things happening with the fog. Just fog along the water, and then the top of Catalina. We're holding a pretty tight angle here, so I'm seeing close to 20 knots apparent. So we may pull it up a little bit. We're on our ears a little. So if we need to adjust, we can reef the main if necessary, or drop the traveler even a little bit. But I kind of like this right now, and it's taking me in the direction I want to sail, which is cool. Pretty epic sailing. We're hovering around 6.5 to a little over 7. Not too bad. Drop the traveler a little bit, just to flatten things out a little bit. We weren't sailing on our ear, but helped balance things out a little bit. And we're still doing around 7 knots, give or take. Guy here is not popping up on AIS. He's clearly northbound, but he doesn't look like he's moving that fast. We got a little buoy in front of us. I'm gonna take her up a little higher, 15 degrees up. We're gonna clear that buoy now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I think that's a wave rider buoy. A little bit of growth on it. It's yellowed. I think it's a wave rider buoy. It's not super visible. A little bit of sailboat traffic. We're zooming along at about 7.5 knots or close to it. And we have this other sailboat here. Pretty good timing. I was expecting we get to Angel's Gate a little bit after 1, and it's 12:48. We definitely picked up some steam under sail. Cruising right along. All right, this might be our last check-in here as we're getting into Angel's Gate, the only next thing of drama is going to be coming into the slip. It's going to be a little bit different because the wind's coming out of the southeast this time. So rather than having nose to wind, we'll have stern to wind. So we may come in a little slower and colder than we normally do. All right, that's a wrap. Successful tie up. Pretty easy tie up. There's no wind. And we had a pretty good sail. So pretty happy with how everything went, 100%. All we gotta do is get the boat tidied up, and then we're gonna bug out, and then stay tuned for the next adventure after that. Hopefully it won't be long.